This is a real headline that I'm about to read to you. This is from WEA 13 News, which is associated with ABC, I believe. This is a real headline. I'm reading it to you word for word. Wisconsin school district bans pride flags and pronouns. A recent decision by a Wisconsin school district to ban pride flags and the use of pronouns in emails has released an avalanche of pushback from students, alumni, and others, while the superintendent said it's simply reaffirming a policy that's already in place. Yes, the classic, wait, why are you complaining about this thing? It's been around for a long time. That should mean it's okay, right? Defense. Kettle Moraine School District Superintendent Ken Plum recently told the school board an interpretation of a policy that prohibits staff from using their positions to promote partisan politics, religious views, and propaganda for personal, monetary, or non-monetary gain. I like that. They're not allowed to bring up their like anything involving partisan politics or religious views, which includes like their identity. Clearly, their gender identity or their sexuality. So this includes like me and my husband or me and my wife or me and my partner or whatever. Like you can't even like say that anymore. And apparently they're banning the use of pronouns too. Also, saying a thing has been around for a long time, so why are you complaining about it? Wow, what a fantastic response. And I like how they threw in personal, monetary, and non-monetary gain. So just anything. You're just not allowed to mention it because that covers everything. Plum said teachers and administrators are prohibited from displaying political or religious messages in their classrooms or on their person, including pride flags, Black Lives Matter flags, and We Back the Badge signs. Oh, good. You also can't have like the Blue Lives Matter flags and stuff. Okay, so I can understand not wanting to have, say, like a BLM flag or a We Back the Badge flag. These are, well, I may agree with BLM. These are overtly political messages. And there's, I guess, an argument to be made that teachers should not be allowed to push their own political views onto students, because typically this is conservatives, like teachers pushing their conservative views onto their students, usually. But what they're actually going after here isn't like a gay teacher going up in front of their class and saying, hey guys, here's what being gay is. It's good to be gay. You should be gay. Or you should accept gay people. That would be fine, by the way. But regardless, it's not even that. It's simply existence, like it's sort of a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing, right? A step back, right? The military used to have a thing called don't ask, don't tell when it came to being gay or trans or anything like that, where you'd be kicked out of the military and not allowed to serve if it ever came out that you were gay or trans, but they weren't going to ask. So as long as you kept it to yourself, it wouldn't be an issue. Now, conservatives and homophobes and bigots will of course defend this policy and say, well, what's the big deal? They just don't have to say, they just gotta keep it a secret. Why not? Obviously, if you're making an entire group of people in society have to keep their identity a secret as policy, well, that doesn't sound very free to me, does it? That doesn't sound very American to me. Now, does it? What do you guys think? Now, that's the whole thing. That is the entirety of the article. It hasn't actually gotten a lot of attention besides that, but students in Wisconsin in that district have complained about it. But this is very much news that's flown under the radar. That's more or less all you're going to find about it. Like, there's a few other articles from like a week or two ago that talk about it, but that's basically it. This just flew under the radar. This just completely flew under the radar. That is how common these anti-LGBT laws and legislation have become. That they're being shotgunned out so fast that they can literally pass by you without noticing. Bills that ban just being allowed to be openly gay or trans or whatever in this Wisconsin school district. A bill a rule that enforces that has flown past everyone's heads. This didn't reach national headlines. No one freaked out over this. Not at least not on a large scale. Not like they did for the Don't Say Gay bill. Because the right has been shotgunning this shit out so fast, you just can't pay attention to it all. It's just so many local and state laws, you can't cover it on a broader level. It's just such a long list. There's an area here in Southern California that's trying to ban abortion, a town here in Southern California that's trying to ban abortion. That's at least gotten attention, but God. I only saw one thread about this situation and it had 600 likes. What can I say? It's just so much. People are so overwhelmed with this news, with the fact that the right is just going as hard as they can to assault the rights of LGBT people, that it's just too much to keep up with. You can't keep up. It's like trying to keep up with Marvel releases, you know? It's hard for some people. You gotta be on top of it. You gotta be like a hardcore, diehard follower to be able to keep up with everything that's going on. If you're just a casual viewer of politics, you just can't keep up with all of it. Fuck DeSantis, TBH. I still remember the day. I actually showed a picture on Twitter not too long ago of me at this science fair. I went to the Florida State Science Fair when I would have been 12 or 13. I might have been 12. I think 13, actually. I think I was 13 years old. I went to the Florida State Science Fair when I was 13 years old. I actually didn't look too much different than I do now because I had the blonde highlights back then. Because I was blonde back in the day. I was in a suit and I was there. And at the time, governor of the state of Florida went there to like shake the hands of all the kids that were at the and say hello to all the kids that were at the science fair. Complete PR move. I did not like Rick Scott because I was a big fan. My literal like science project was about whether or not runoff from like all sorts of bullshit like fertilizers and fuel and oil and just any types of pollution, everything like that was polluting my canal that I lived on. We lived on a canal, and it was getting polluted to crazy. Like it was getting all murky and fucked up, and it stopped being, pretty, right? And so from this house that we rented, it had like this little area that I could go down to the water. So I would go down to the water, collect a sample every single day. I'd measure turbidity, I'd measure acidity, there was so many different things I measured. What else did I measure? Water temperature was one of them that I measured. As well as the air temperature, I would log. God, there was just so much stuff that I tested for. I basically had a little fucking chemistry lab on the back porch, and every day I went out. Alkalinity, thank you. Every single fucking day I'd go out onto the porch and just test this fucking water, and I had a little notepad, and I'd write down all of the different all the numbers and everything. Nitrogen levels, I don't think I measured that. I might have, though. That sounds important for me to have measured. Anyway, I did pretty damn well. I got up the state science fair, and I was proud of myself, but Rick Scott came to me to shake my hand, and I was pissed off because Rick Scott was notorious for just shredding any environmental protections. So when he went to shake my hand, I grabbed his hand and I squeezed as hard as my 13-year-old fucking grip could, okay? I squeezed that Voldemort-looking motherfucker's hand as hard as I fucking could. I hoped that I'd be like Harry Potter and I'd make him fucking turn to ash just by touching him, but it didn't work. I don't think it hurt him very much. I was 13 years old. My favorite meme is transphobes saying a singular they, them is grammatically correct, then use a singular, or grammatically incorrect, then use a singular they, them in the same sentence. That's always a really funny one. Yeah. It should go to show, by the way, just because somebody has a high position of power in our government, even if their title indicates they ought to have a lot of credibility when they talk about a topic like this, that does not mean they have it. The right relies on pointing to, like, groups of doctors that have been put together by a board consisting of people that are members of a hate group. Then when you do the history on those doctors, they've all literally been completely like embarrassed out of their fields and no longer like act as currently acting academics because nobody accepts them because they're so fucking crazy. And now the only place they can find work is by advocating for conservatives. Like, You understand that lady from back when COVID first started that was going on in front of the White House about how COVID is caused by demons and gay sex? Remember that lady? The lady that was talking about the demons of the COVID demons, the gay sex who remembers that lady? Speaking on like the White House steps or something like that, like literally a Trump endorsed doctor. She's a real doctor. And she believes COVID is caused by demons and that homosexuality is caused by similar demons. Okay? And she's a doctor. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't trust medical institutions and stuff. Broadly, the scientific method works pretty damn well. I have some pretty good. I have faith in the scientific. Well, it's not really faith. I have trust in the scientific method. I believe it works most of the time. I'm pretty confident that the process of data collection, peer review, and research that the vast majority of our academic and medical institutions engage in, and you know, the peer review and everything that happens before a broad consensus conclusion is reached, I trust those broad consensus conclusions. What I don't trust are crazy quack whack job disgraced doctors that aren't taken seriously by any of the medical institutions or academia. Or even like the best case scenario is you'll get like a surgeon who comes out and says, who isn't an expert on this, who will come out and say, hey, look at me, I'm a doctor, here's why trans people are mentally ill. And then the right will tout like an unverified, like they'll make an opinion, a book of their opinions, but because they're a doctor that does not specialize in that field, conservatives will tout that kind of shit. That is the level of dishonesty conservatives operate on. They don't care about truth. They don't care about credibility. All they care about is, does this name and this title, does it sound official? Does it sound trustworthy? And sometimes, if you're like a random nobody YouTuber, you'll go and you'll put on a British accent, a fake British accent to sound smart. What's his name? Arch Warhammer? Arch, I guess he's just Arch now. Hello, audience. Today we're going to talk about the woke inquisition on our beloved video games. That guy. Or the, or Sargon, who definitely fucking plays up his accent. 100%. God, the British accent thing that conservatives use to sound smarter is the most frustrating. Regardless, this superintendent should be fired. Banning pronouns? Are you fucking kidding me? How does the superintendent of a school district not have a proper elementary school English education? God help us. God help this country. Fly the flag upside down. All right. If you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me. Go down in the description below if you want to follow my social medias, including my Instagram and my Twitter if you really want to see the spicy, fun memes, especially my fan Discord too. That's where all the real fans are at. And of course, if you want to support me financially, you can do so, nose itch, in the form of a donation, sub, or gifted sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or even through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. Regardless of how you support me, though, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.